It was the summer of 2006, August to be precise. I was a proud dad to a young son called Gabriel, and happily engaged to my future ex-wife, Helena. That year, we'd not long moved into our first family home, and we were about to set off on our first family road trip together. Helena, among other things, was a professional photographer and had been commissioned by the people of Gigha to visit the island and take pictures for their new website. This was to help promote the island after it was bought out by the local community from the previous owner. As part of the arrangement, our accommodation was covered and we'd be staying the weekend in a place right near the beach called the Ferryman's Cottage. Gigha is a small island off the coast of the Mull of Kintyre, covering an area of around 13.95 square kilometres, and is home to around 170 of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. Given Gabriel was only 9 months old at the time, we'd not had a breakaway for months, so we jumped at the chance to escape, and were really looking forward to seeing a part of the country we'd never visited. The day of our trip arrived, so we excitedly packed the car and set off on our lengthy journey. Now, this trip is a long but cracking one. The west coast of Scotland is a magical place. I definitely recommend visiting. With a few hours driving under our belt, we'd passed through numerous mountains and glens, and we soon approached our ferry. The crossing didn't take long at all. It's only about a 20-minute ferry ride, and as Gigha grew closer, we could see our accommodation up here. After we docked, we drove the car off and made the very short journey to the cottage. The Ferryman's cottage is charming but unremarkable. It's set in a fantastic location, literally a 2-minute walk from the beach. When we parked in the drive at the front of the cottage, we stopped to admire the little building that would be home for the next couple of nights. It's a good size, with 2 upstairs bedrooms, an upstairs toilet, and the kitchen and living room on the ground floor. The staircase is in the centre of the house as you walk in. The cottage has self-contained gardens, so we let Gabriel out for a quick crawl in the grass, while we stretched our legs and had a quick look around. Soon it was time to unpack the car and make some lunch, my job, while Helena took care of Gabriel. So I naturally looked for the easiest meal possible, tomato soup. The kitchen was relatively small, narrow and dated. It had the sink on the right when you walked in and the microwave towards the end, with storage cupboards on the wall towards the back of the room. The kitchen had pretty basic amenities, but it was everything that you'd need for a weekend away. I was washing up some pots in the sink, and to make space, I moved the toaster, which was to my left, and moved it further down the counter. After a minute or so washing, I noticed out the corner of my eye that the toaster moved. Now this wasn't a big sudden loud movement, but a slow slide across the counter. I'd guess 2 inches or so, enough for me to see it and to hear it. So I stopped what I was doing and moved in for a closer look, thinking that when I'd moved it, I'd somehow coiled the wires up and it was them releasing the tension that had caused the toaster to move. The only rational explanation, right? So given I'd found the reason for the toaster moving, I decided it wasn't worth mentioning to Helena, as I didn't want to freak her out. But I did notice that there was a definite atmosphere in the cottage. Not evil or anything dramatic like that, but uncomfortable. We'd been up since the wee small hours, as the drive was a long one, and I definitely needed a nap. So I went up to the main bedroom, which was to the left of the top of the stairs. The bathroom was directly ahead, and it was one of those old-fashioned bathrooms with a half-wood and half-frosted glass door. The second bedroom, to the right of the bathroom, had an old wooden cot in it that we thought would be ideal for Gabriel, and the decor throughout the house, although pleasant enough, felt like it was stuck in a previous time. Although the bed in the bedroom were comfortable enough, I couldn't settle or sleep, so decided to get up and head back downstairs. I'll be honest, I was half expecting to see a terrified Helena waiting outside the car, ready to go, as she'd had enough of the place. All was fine though, but Helena did ask what I was looking for when she'd gone to the bathroom, as she'd seen me slowly and deliberately walk past the bathroom door from the main bedroom into the spare. I hadn't though. Again, I didn't want to freak her out. We were on an island with nowhere else to go if we left, so I just made an excuse about being restless. It had been a long day, and it was drawing to a close. For some reason, we both decided to discuss where we were going to sleep. Not about which side of the bed we'd sleep on, or how comfy Gabriel would be in the cot, but whether or not we'd sleep in the bedroom or in the living room, where the TV was. Basically, We were both trying to avoid going upstairs without actually saying we're trying to avoid going upstairs. Given the TV was in the living room, we decided it was best to sleep in there. So we both went upstairs to strip the bed and set up camp on the floor, with Gabriel next to us. If one of us needed the toilet, without discussing why, the other would stand at the bottom of the stairs and wait for them to come out. Gabriel at the time was crawling everywhere. It was only a month or so later that he started walking, so we didn't want him going upstairs and potentially getting hurt. So we decided, as you do, to create a barricade at the bottom of the stairs to stop him going up. The barricade consisted of the coffee table on its side, the parcel shelf from the car, and lots of big pillows to help bulk it up. Hadrian would have been proud of the wall that we built. We both felt odd there, but wanted to keep it together long enough not to freak the other one out. Anyway, we managed to sleep, well, as much as Gabriel would let us, and the next day set about taking pictures of the island, the local hotel, its beaches, and some of the older buildings to help build the website. Unfortunately, the weather was pretty dire. Big grey clouds filled the sky and the lighting was terrible. But she was there to do her job, and Helena did the best she could under those difficult circumstances. We'd heard that the next day's weather would be better, so decided we'd wait until then to take pictures of the ferryman's cottage. Daybreak came and we started tidying the place up and packing the car so Helena could take her pictures. While we were getting ready, the sudden realisation hit us. Where's Gabriel? Panic set in. We checked the living room, kitchen, gardens and the car. He wasn't there. The only place he could be was upstairs. But if that was the case, then why was the barricade we'd made completely untouched, and why didn't either of us notice him going up? I quickly pushed the coffee table out of the way, then ran upstairs. Gabriel, where are you, kid? It was then that I found him in the main bedroom, happy as Larry and completely fine, chattering away to himself in the middle of the floor, just like toddlers do. Now the upstairs had creeped me out to the point where I wouldn't even look towards them. I walked past, and I did my utmost to avoid going up there. Now, here I was, in the very place that I feared, with my son who'd seemingly defied logic, gravity, and everything else in getting there. And all I could think of was how, and we have to get out of here fast. So we did. We finished packing, rushed around taking the necessary pictures, and then left to catch a ferry, which we were far too early for, but it didn't matter. We were out the cottage. It was while we were sitting in the car that we opened up to each other about how we'd felt in the cottage. Almost in unison, we both blurted out something along the lines of, "Thank God that's over." I told Helena about the toaster moving, and she told me about the shadow pass from the bathroom. While these were just individual experiences, we both shared the feeling that there was something not right in that place. We then made the long journey back home. We didn't talk much on the way home, and I'll be honest, Gabriel cried a lot during that journey. But we did often ask ourselves, how did he get over the barrier? What did he move? Why did we miss it? But we couldn't come up with an explanation. A week or so later, Helena uploaded her pictures to my crappy old PC, and we had a look through them. Given the weather conditions, unfortunately, not many of them were used for the website, so you can imagine her disappointment while scrolling through them. However, when it came to the ferryman's cottage, the pictures there were much better, except one or two. One of the building's front exterior, where a light could be seen in the bathroom, despite no lights being on. And spookiest of all, the outline of a young-looking boy in the window of the front porch. Now I remember this image distinctly. It burned into my brain. The outline of the boy was iridescent, like oil on water, and it looked like a boy aged around 12 to 14, peeking round the window with his head and left shoulder visible. No facial features were on show, but you knew it was a young male, and you knew that he had dark hair. So, where are the pictures? I know people won't believe me without proof, rightly so. Unfortunately, I don't have the proof anymore. In 2006, social media was very much in its infancy. We had no Facebook or Instagram accounts, and nothing was stored in the clouds. Everything was unfortunately saved to my old PC, which soon broke and the pictures were lost. I wished I'd backed them up somehow. I really wish I had. but hindsight is a truly wonderful thing. To this day, we've no idea how Gabriel got over the barricade without moving anything or without us noticing. And I'm not convinced the toaster moved due to the wire. We've talked over possible scenarios of how he could have done it, but none of them made sense, and they would all require him to have moved something or for us to have noticed something. We genuinely can't explain it. Needless to say, I'm dying to go back to Gigha and I'd love to stay in the cottage again. Maybe this time I'll get somebody else to do the cooking.